Okay, welcome to Chapter 2, everybody, of the Online Meeting Survival Guide. In this chapter, we're going to talk about how we got here. What's the technology that all of this is really built upon, and how do we get here over the past 40, 50 years? So it all started with email and instant messaging. And it's funny that those technologies, email and instant messaging, they really haven't changed very much. But today, the matter of fact is that in a matter of seconds, you can search and find hundreds of communication apps to install on your smartphone or your computer. The communication tools of today are really a result of an evolution of technological innovations that span several decades. And while each service promises to be the best, most intuitive solution for your online communications, those that can be used with your family, with your friends, and your business partners. Now, the earliest online messaging and email applications were from AOL, Mindspring, and Yahoo, but they were really only initially available to small groups of computer owners. One of the major changes here is access to personal computers, computers in general, and the internet itself. In fact, the internet has transformed the global communication landscape more than any other technology. Now, instant messaging actually predates the internet. Unlike many technologies, instant messaging and email really are still important today. They haven't been replaced with anything because they're so foundational. So it's really incredible the way that Google Gmail has integrated their mail system directly with instant messaging and video conferencing. And it's something that you'll learn about. But in 1993, this is an interesting statistic, two-way communications on the internet only represented 1% of communications. 7 years later, that increased to 51%. And then another 4 years later, it climbed to 97%. So the communications are happening over the internet today. And it's really transformed global communications landscape more than anything else, just simply connectivity on the internet. Now, as the internet expanded, new software as a service, or you'll hear this as SaaS, and cloud computing, which is off-premise data warehousing, became available. And SaaS is when a provider hosts their application, something like Zoom, something like Office 365, and makes them available on demand by subscription to the customers over the internet. So an example of SaaS might be Dropbox or Slack or Office 365. And providers like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft help companies deliver SaaS via cloud computing technology using powerful front-end software applications. Delivering software via the cloud has made businesses more agile and scalable. And from a consumer standpoint, cloud solutions have eliminated many of the barriers to entry for personal and business quality software, because the migration to the cloud allows providers to have less expensive solutions that require a subscription, as opposed to the one-time purchases that used to cost really expensive. Another example I like to use is Adobe Photoshop. That used to cost $1,000. Now you just pay $9.99 a month. So it allows for companies to launch things a lot faster. Now, because it's reduced so many of these barriers, they also have put out something called an API, or an application programming interface, which allows third-party software services to create new integrations that are even more powerful. So it's really become a new world of cloud conferencing. Now, throughout this process, Skype was really one of the first large consumer video conferencing solutions. It goes all the way back to 2003. And it was really one of the first widely adopted video communications platforms. And Skype featured the ability to host audio and video communications between callers, groups up to 25 people. The historical significance of Skype is, smart to be noted, because it was really an innovator in user friendliness. And it was so great that by 2004, within a year, they'd logged 1.5 million downloads and had 100,000 concurrent users. Now, as Skype became more popular, Microsoft actually acquired them in 2011. So this is when things started to heat up. So Microsoft buys Skype. Google enters the market by bringing out Hangouts in 2013. Hangouts was a lot different than Skype. Google went the WebRTC route, so their video communications was built directly into the web browser. And Google actually integrated Hangouts into Gmail, which at that time had 500 million users. And by building it directly into Gmail, we all know how important email was. They built instant messaging and video conferencing into a web-based internet browser. So Google really blew up. So Microsoft announces that it will phase out Skype for Skype, or well, never phased out Skype, but made Skype for Business available in 2017, and then replaced Skype for Business with something called Teams. It was really in response to more thread-based communication platforms like Slack. And Teams combined the best elements of Skype video conferencing with more robust team-based approach to online communications, having channels for collaboration and communication. It included those threaded conversations and channel-based project collaboration that we'll talk about more. And these changes essentially mark the division between the conferencing solutions, which is for consumers, that is Skype, and Teams, which is more designed for businesses from Microsoft. Now, throughout this time, there was also plenty other players in the video communication space, including BlueJeans, GoToMeeting, WebEx, and eventually Zoom. Today, Zoom has become the notable winner and innovator in the space, so we'll focus on Zoom as we go forward. In 2011, Zoom was founded by former WebEx engineer Eric Yuan. WebEx was owned by Cisco. Zoom launched in 2013 after 2 years of development, and it was the first video conferencing solution that I found that was really video first, and it had a really straightforward meeting control bar at the bottom. Zoom was originally known as the affordable alternative to most professional online communications, setting the bar at only $9.99 at a time, I remember this, when GoToMeeting was $39.99 per month. So this was all new, and Zoom was really gathering some steam there. Now that Zoom here in 2020 has become the market leader, there's been some major responses to the explosion of video communications. Facebook announced that they would allow up to 50 video callers to interact within Facebook Messenger rooms. Google made their Google Meet video conferencing software with no time restrictions, by the way, available for anyone to use with up to 100 meeting participants. At the same time, Google announced that they're adding 3 million new users a day and have grown by a factor of 30x in the midst of the coronavirus. Zoom still remains the leader as of today. They're adding 20 million new users roughly every day, but some of those numbers still need to be confirmed. So that lays out some of the leading providers of video communications and what you're going to learn in this course. Gives you a good idea of where we've come from over the past couple decades. Very exciting to dig into how you're going to use these video conferencing communication tools. And we're going to try to do some exercises to get innovative with the way your business can customize these solutions to be more productive. Let's go to chapter 3.